All right, if you're a business owner who sort of wants to understand how much their company might be worth, or even potentially looking to sell one day, I think every business owner should actually build to sell, regardless of whether they're ever going to sell or not, because it makes their company worth a lot more. And a lot of people have been reaching out to me on LinkedIn and TikTok as well, trying to understand what their company is worth. So I thought I'd make a quick video explaining sort of how I look at valuing a company, what I would buy, what kind of information I want to understand before I make a decision whether I'm going to buy it, and how other acquisition companies, investment companies, private equity companies come up with their valuations of whether or not they're going to go through to a deal and say yes, or go all the way and they're just going to get rid of it. Most private equity businesses say no to majority of their deal flow that comes in, and they get a lot of deal flow coming in naturally through the door. Every single day they say no to a ton of different businesses because they know what they're looking for and they know what they're not looking for. So if you're a company or a business owner who wants to understand the valuation, these are probably the most important things you need to know. Now, most people think it's just EBITDA times an industry standard multiple, which is on the surface what some people look at to come up with like a basic valuation to understand the area of what their company might be worth. But as a person who buys businesses, we look at a whole bunch more things to come up with the valuation and to understand what the company might be worth, and even if it's worth pursuing and spending real money on due diligence and getting people interested. So one of the things that we look at is key man risk, and this is a big one for us because if we wanted to replace you or take you out of the business, or you left the business, how would the company perform? Would it completely fall flat? Would it do fine? Would it scale? Would it even grow? How would that look? Now, if you want to understand if there's any key man risk in your business and you're the owner and you think maybe it relies on you a little bit, try leaving it for a month and not doing anything, not touching the business, and see how it goes. Or replace yourself with somebody else, maybe second in line, to see how the business performs without you. And if the company doesn't perform, you most likely have key man risk. The best way to fix key man risk is to quite literally just document what you do every single day. So every 30 minutes, document what you just did for 30 minutes. And then over a 2-week period, and then have a look at it and see what you can automate, see what you can delegate, and see what you can teach to other people to slowly remove yourself from the business. Now, most people think this is quite scary to do because you're replacing yourself essentially, but this is actually what makes companies worth a lot more and 10 times more likely to sell. The next thing is we look at, is there a single client or multiple clients that make up a large portion of the revenue? Usually in business, we want the revenue quite evened out throughout the entire business. We don't want one client making up like 20 or 30% of the revenue, because that's a risk. If they pull out, then there's automatically 30% of the revenue